Picture an 11-year-old boy with ADHD in a classroom, legs bouncing, fingers drumming, mind racing like a rushing stream. Now drop that same kid into a pool. In the water, he glides, each stroke turning the chaos into control. What if the key to helping ADHD kids isn't keeping them still, but rather we give them the right waves to ride? I'm Tzvi Tavikman, a master's student in clinical and mental health counseling at Bellevue University. I've spent about 10 years as an educator. I have seen firsthand how ADHD plays out in real classrooms. I believe in a well-rounded approach that helps kids develop lifelong habits for focus, emotional regulation, and overall well-being. And that is where swimming comes in. Medication or not, structured movement is a powerful tool for success. Too often, kids are forced to fit in a system that's just a bad fit for them. But what if we guide them to a stream that works with them instead of against them? ADHD affects 5 to 10% of school-age kids worldwide. That's a whole lot of kids paddling upstream every day, trying to stay afloat in a system that was not designed for them. It's not just hyperactivity. It's about attention, impulse control, and self-regulation. Neuroscientifically speaking, ADHD is linked to differences in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, impulse control, and focus. Imagine a lifeguard watching over a crowded pool, but constantly getting distracted by all the splashing. That's the ADHD brain trying to manage attention. Traditionally, treatments like medication and therapy do help. ADHD is not just a surface level issue. It's about how the brain's dopamine system functions. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation and attention, is like the tide. It moves thoughts and actions forward. When it's dysregulated, focus drifts like a swimmer that's all caught up in the stream. Schools tried structured routines, but for ADHD kids, that's like throwing them an anchor instead of giving them a compass. It stops them from moving, but it doesn't help them navigate. What they need is a channel to direct their energy, not an anchor to drag them down. And that is where the swimming comes in. It's rhythmic and structured. And with the built-in resistance to water, it can provide a natural mechanism to regulate both movement and focus in the brain. Before diving into the research, let's outline my 5 main questions. There's so much to read and even more to know. My first question is, can regular swimming lower stress and anxiety for kids with ADHD? We know that exercise helps, but is swimming uniquely effective? Second, do kids with ADHD feel that swimming helps them more than medication or other treatments? Not as a replacement, but as an essential tool for their daily routine. Third, does swimming help kids with ADHD have better social interactions throughout their day? I want to see if the teamwork and the structure of the swimming can come in and translate to better pro-social and peer relationships. The fourth question is, can swimming make it easier for kids with ADHD to focus and behave better in class? If a swim before school makes the classroom better, then it's worth the time. It can be a game changer. And my final question is, how often and how long do the kids actually need to swim in order to see improvements? Is it a daily dive, or can a few laps every week help? These questions are going to guide my research, and I want to first start by exploring what other people have found. I came across a few studies on swimming and ADHD, but I wanted to highlight 3 that really stood out. These studies don't just suggest that swimming helps, they explain how and why it does. In Brazil, researchers worked with 60 kids with ADHD ages 9 to 12 over a 12-week structured program. Three times a week, these kids weren't just splashing around. They followed a structured routine with warm up, drills, endurance training, and a cool down period. By the end of the study, their cognitive flexibility, their attention span, and their emotional regulation had all improved significantly. The structured nature of swimming acted like a mental reset button, helping them shift between tasks more smoothly and helping these boys regulate throughout the day. As it turned out, a few laps in the pool can steer kids away from distraction and keep them right on course. The second study came out of North Africa. In Tunisia, research studied 45 kids with ADHD, splitting them into two groups. One that swam three times a week in a structured program, while the other stuck to their regular routines. The swimming sessions include breathing control, underwater focus drills, and synchronized movement. Activities that naturally reinforce discipline, coordination, and attention. The results? The swimming groups showed a noticeable drop in impulsivity and hyperactivity, while their classroom focuses improved significantly. Teachers even reported that these kids were more engaged in lessons and had fewer disruptive outbursts. They weren't just swimming, they were riding the wave of focus straight to a better form of learning. The third study took place in the UK, exploring the broader effects of water-based activities. This includes swimming and kayaking and just playing in the water. Over 10 weeks, 30 kids with ADHD participated in these activities twice a week. While research examined how sensory input, water resistance, movement, and rhythmic breathing impacted the children's ability to self-regulate. The finding? Water-based activities had a calming effect, helping kids manage sensory overload and improve their emotional balance. The rhythmic nature of swimming and kayaking helped them enter a flow state where they could focus better, manage frustration, and transition between tasks more smoothly. Think of it as getting kids away from distractions into calming waters. As everyone here knows, any good presentation needs a personal story. A real moment for you, the audience, to say, "Aw, there's a boy in my class, bright, curious, full of energy, but every day is a battle. He fidgets in his pencil tapping against the desk. He starts one sentence, then another and another, unable to finish a single thought before his mind pulls him somewhere else. The frustration is written all over his face. He wants to focus. He wants to do well, but it's like trying to read through a foggy window, like running with weights strapped to your legs while everyone else is moving effortlessly ahead." As a side note, this is the first figurative language I used that didn't involve water or swimming, so enjoy. Anyway, his parents won't get him tested. They're afraid of what it might mean, afraid that the diagnosis will lead straight to medication and it will change who this boy is. But ADHD treatment isn't a yes or no question. It isn't a meds or no meds. It's about finding the right stroke, whether that's therapy, structure, exercise, or even, yes, sometimes medication. And I can't help but think how much he would love an hour in the pool every single morning. How the water would give him the movement his brain craves. How it would quiet the storm and help him start the day. Because treatment isn't about changing who you are. It's about giving you what you need to thrive. ADHD doesn't disappear if you ignore it. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means you need a plan. And every kid deserves that. My research isn't just about jumping into the deep end without looking. This isn't about my perceptions and my emotions. I am in a Master's of Science program. And I do love science and the scientific method. So, for my literature review, I do have questions. I'm going to review the literature. I'm going to develop and facilitate a study. And then I get to the fun part. And that is actually helping people. We still have questions. The truth is, there are so many questions that I have that we're not even touching on because I want to just focus on my 5. The first is, can regular swimming lower stress and anxiety for kids with ADHD? Do kids with ADHD feel that swimming helps them more than the medication or the other treatment? Does swimming help kids with ADHD have better social interactions throughout the day? Can swimming make it easier for kids with ADHD to focus and behave well in class? How often and how long do kids need to swim to actually see these improvements? My current goal right now is to compile the research into a comprehensive literature review. The next step would be to conduct an original study, either replicating past findings or discovering something new. If the research proves valid, we can establish a school-based system for having swim programs as a treatment for ADHD. Imagine a kid starting their day not with a lecture, but with laps.